What's up? What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? What's up, Matt? All right, guys, just excuse my nose. It's a little bit stuffy. Think man's getting sick again. What's up, Sapient? Yeah, we had to upgrade here. Had to upgrade. All right, guys. So, standard procedure. I'm gonna be doing my breakdown on gold. Basically doing a pre-market analysis, showing you guys how I do my analysis, and yeah, if you guys have any questions there afterwards, I'll be happy to answer them. Alright, so let's get into it. Yeah, bro, damn, it's so bad. It got worse now, but yeah. Alright. Alright, guys, so here you can see gold on the 1 hour time frame. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. Alright, so whenever I break down gold, especially in a new week, I like to look at how the previous week performed, right? So let's go onto the weekly time frame, and then boom, here we go. What is this? All right, well, let's clear that because that's in the way. All right, so over here on the weekly time frame, right, you guys can see that essentially we have a spinning top on the week, right? Then if you look at it from a bigger time frame, we're having a spinning top on a top of a bullish market. All right, so essentially what we could see here is this could turn into a evening star pattern. All right, so if you guys don't know what an evening star pattern is, it's essentially a Japanese candlestick pattern, right? So something like this. Here you go. All right, so that's essentially what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame, right? Going back, you can see it here. So how we would trade this is we would hope that this week essentially comes down to 50% of the previous week, not last week, the previous week's 50% mark, right? So for interest sake, because our bias is short, let's mark it here, and then boom, this is our 50% mark, right? So let's mark it 50% evening all right, so we marked that candle. Now what I always like to do is draw my fib from the week before. All right, so over here all the way to the top. All right, so here we have our excuse the sniffing, guys, last week high. All right, now remember, we always want to collect as much data as we can, right? So I just like to lay out my chart just so that I can see exactly how price is performing. If price, for example, goes over 2459.37, you know, if we didn't mark last week's high, we wouldn't know that it's surpassing last week's high, right? So it's just good to keep this data on your chart. And then over here, last week low. Alright guys, so as well as marking the high and low, I like to essentially mark my golden zone. And for everyone that knows by now, the golden zone is my 0.5 and 0.618 Fibonacci levels. Alright, so this is last week's golden zone. So here, let's mark a little bit lower. There we go. Last week, 50%. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Appreciate it, though. Style orange. And then last week, 61.8%. Alright, and then let's also mark this over here, golden zone, last week. Alright, so we've marked last week's 50%, last week's 61.8, last week's high, and last week's low, right? Now, on top of that, we also have our 1.618 Fibonacci zone, which is also the key reversal zone if we break the last week's low, right? So for interest sake, we are just going to mark this as well. Well, essentially we have it here already. I think it's the same as last week. So we already have it here. Let's just place it accurately. Alright, so there we go. We have last week's high, last week's low, our golden zone, as well as marking the 50% area of this evening star pattern. Now remember, this evening star pattern is invalid if we surpass last week's high, right? So the moment we surpass last week's high, this morning star pattern is invalid. So now that we marked the weekly fibs, let's look at it as a daily. Daily time frame. Alright, so over here, if you guys can see, we had a weekly trend, which is still valid. Let's remove our previous trend lines. Alright, and then we can essentially see some form of trend forming over here. Alright, because obviously price has been super bullish. Price has formed a new trend. Alright, well, a new daily trend. So remember, we're just collecting data. Let's see if it matches up. Over here, matches up perfectly. Alright, so now we will mark this as we can essentially say it's a new daily trend line. Okay, daily trend. And I can't spell. Alright guys, so there's a lot going on in the chart right now, but hopefully it makes sense for you guys, right? So we have a daily trend. The reason why we're marking this out is because, for example, if price comes over here, we know that if price does bounce, the reason is because there's a trend. If we're looking for shorts, we could wait for a break on this trend, break and retest, right? So now on the 1 hour time, on the daily time frame, essentially we have this. Alright, hope all you guys can understand so far. Now let's dissect it at a 1 hour time frame. Alright, so if you guys know that typically I don't like trading Mondays, right? Because Monday is essentially, if you see each pair as in the new week, it restarting, right? Monday hasn't necessarily given us enough data to justify our move, right? So yes, we do have data from last week, but I'd much prefer us to essentially see what happens on Monday to justify our future trades within the week, right? So that's why I always like taking trades on Monday is a little bit more risky. Alright, so here on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that we do have essentially another trend forming. All right, essentially something like this. All right, and you don't want to fill your chart with like a bunch of stuff, but I like to just have more data. The more data, the better. Eventually, when price breaks these areas, we can remove the unnecessary trend lines. So 1 hour trend. Let's mark it orange. Alright, so we have our 1 hour trend on the 1 hour time frame. Now let's see how prices moved so far, right? Remember, so far our bias is short. Okay, we have a short bias purely because of how the week closed and potentially the Japanese candlestick that's forming. Alright, so let's mark our daily range so far. Okay, so as you know, today's Monday, so let's find Monday, and here we go. Right, so the 50% of the evening star is essentially the same as Monday's low, right? So Monday low, and then I'm not even gonna bother to mark Monday's high just because look where price is at the moment, right? At the moment where price is, we can't really, like, if we're gonna mark our Monday high, we're just gonna keep on moving it as it goes, right? So now that we have Monday's low so far, as well as a bunch of data on this area, right? What could we look for price to happen, right? So obviously my bias is shorts. Essentially, if price breaks last week's high, the Japanese candlestick is invalid. We do have a 1 hour support and resistance zone over here. All right. So let's try see exactly what, like, again, when I trade, I look for a lot of validation to take entries, right? If there's only, for example, one thing, well, I'd say essentially here we have two reasons. Two reasons being the evening star Japanese candlestick, and then the second reason, sorry, just the dogs. The second reason would be the, so first reason, support and resistance. Second reason, Japanese candlestick, right? So that's essentially two reasons over here. All right, but now two reasons isn't necessarily enough to take the trade. We need to find more validation. So what we can do is let's look at Friday's range. All right, so Friday, we have Friday's low over here and Friday's high. All right, let's just double check. Friday's low and Friday's high, right? So let's mark this. Let's not get confused. All right, so essentially we're just trying to collect more data, right? So Friday high and Friday low. My bias is short for my open and then bullish push after we fold orders. Where exactly are you looking to go long, Matt? Alright, so for interest sake, we're going to draw Fibonacci, and we can see that our 1.618, right, is aligned with support and resistance being Fridays. So 1.618 Friday. Alright, so now we have essentially three reasons, right? Three reasons why we could go short in this area. So for gold, and again, this is Monday, right? We're looking ideally to have more data to predict the move. But essentially for gold, what I would look is possibly taking shorts over here, getting a nice push up at New York session, and then putting it slightly above last week's high. right? So probably 2461.5 around there. TP1 would be price retesting support over here, but essentially what we'll look to do is a safe bet would be coming down to this area here. There afterwards we can justify what price is going to do, right? Because remember, the Japanese candlestick doesn't necessarily, it's not like bulletproof where it's like, 100% has to go down. We need this week to close at least 50% below of this evening star pattern. So by Friday, if we can see that prices essentially not surpassed last week's high, being at 2458.91, and price has essentially closed below the 50% evening star pattern, which is 2423.78, then we know that our bias is still short. I have no clear level yet where I want to go long. I'm still waiting for a good volume push to get that bullish confirmed. Yeah, so I think again, same thing as mine, right? You wait until Monday, see exactly what data presents itself. But I'd say possible longs we could look at over here at 2400, which is essentially last week's 61.8. And then if price breaks below last week's low, then we know that we're going to continue going down. So yeah, that's my setup for gold today. Essentially shorts at 2450, SL being at 2461, and safe exit would be at 2432 and 2423. There afterwards, best case scenario, we look to finally exit at 2400. Alright guys, so that's my gold analysis. Do you guys have any questions? Amazing. Yeah, so always whenever you guys do your analysis, try to collect as much data as you can, and there afterwards predict your move. Okay, so I'm gonna go live again, just so that we can record our live trading session on the Discord. So yeah, this is essentially just a stream for my gold analysis. I'm gonna go live again in 10 minutes. I do see JMO is live now, so yeah, let's all go hop in. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the gold breakdown, and I'll see you at New York session in 9 minutes.